Sixth episode of the I Don't Know podcast. Coming at you. Not live. We got Ben, Simon, me, as always, and our special guest today, Lucas.
How you going?
Yeah.
Why is it on my face? Like the camera's like it's like.
Yeah, you're like the center of the attention. That's kind of how we do it here.
Look, I kind of like it that way. It's the way.
Yeah, exactly. it's the way it's the way it usually is.
Oh, look, I can be quiet at times, but
overall,
just not in Thailand or Amsterdam.
No, Thailand, I understand. It's both two topics that we're not going to discuss today.
I mean, look, it depends how saucy we get.
Did you smoke any of the Amsterdam?
Kush? Nope, I'm a teacher. I'm a very sensible young man. This is probably a really bad idea.
Did you eat any oregano?
This is such a bad idea. I legit, am a teacher.
Are you?
Yeah. I'm a tutor. It's great.
For tuba, right?
Trumpet.
Kids.
Trumpet?
Yeah.
Oh, so you do trumpet and tuba?
Yeah, no,
Kids only inhale marijuana if it's through a trumpet.
Can you use a trumpet as like a pipe? Could you potentially?
Of course not. I mean, no, you definitely should never do that.
Have you tried it?
Never.
Alright.
So you cut all that shit out if you.
Yeah. We'll cut it out if you don't want it in there. But I looked at the analytics for the last 2 episodes, or 2 or 3 episodes. People are cutting out in the first 5 minutes. So if you guys stay,
cut out so much shit.
If you guys stay for like 10 minutes, I'll be very happy, please.
I mean, I think we only have 20 minutes left on the recording.
Yeah, and I have to do the classic stop and start kind of thing.
Oh, truth.
Yeah, so that's the way that works.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's all right. We've got a few topics to get into today. We're going to talk about Lucas's trip to Thailand. We're going to talk about we're going to talk about Lucas's trip to Amsterdam. We're going to talk about, but before we get into Lucas's saucy adventures, I want to talk about the Eminem album that recently came out. Did you listen to it, or have you heard anything about it, or?
No.
Not at all?
No, I've heard about it. There's this fella called
Eminem, this guy.
Yeah, he's a cool bloke.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
He's an alright guy.
Yeah, sure is.
Yeah, he's not too bad. But Ben, you've heard the album?
Yeah, but like background.
In the background? So you weren't like actually listening to it or whatever?
I listened to his disses.
How old is his daughter?
She's our age.
His daughter's pretty hot.
She's pretty hot. She's like 22 or something?
No, that's too old.
Yeah, she's 22.
Yeah, we go for fucking unborn baby. We go for fetuses over here.
Oh yeah, that's the way we like it.
No, I'm a good boy.
Well, it's a completely different character to what we were hearing before we hit the record.
Yeah, but now there's no record. There's video evidence of this, and
yeah,
I'd like to keep my job.
Which one? I should say what one.
Yeah, the one I didn't leave.
But yeah, Eminem's album came out, and he dissed a bunch of people.
But why? Why is it so much aggression?
Yeah, I don't understand why Eminem's voice cringes me out now. Like he's always like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
like I suited him back then, but like he has nothing to be angry about now. Like,
did you see Chris D'Elia's version of Eminem?
No.
Chris D'Elia just made like a parody of him. He's like, "I fucking fuck you, con motherfucker."
I don't get it.
Motherfucking fucking bucka tucker motherfucker tucker fucker.
But why? This guy's like a fundamental part of like modern day rap. Like
yeah.
Like why does he have any reason to be upset about?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
The thing because a little backstory, like he made an album last year called. What was it? Revival.
Right.
He made the album Revival last year, which was an absolute flop. It was an absolute flop. Like the worst album he's probably ever created.
Right.
And before then, so before 2017, no one heard anything from Eminem for like 10 years. Around 10 years. And all of a sudden he comes with this banger. More or less, like, you know.
When was Rap God released?
Oh, Rap God was like a single that he made. Like it wasn't an album. It wasn't part of an album. It was just a single. Can't remember what year that was. That was probably like.
It was like last year or something before.
No, I think it'd be like 2014, maybe 2000. Around there, something like that.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, he dissed a bunch of people in it. He dissed Tyler, the creator. He dissed, I think the biggest one.
So he's the person who started like the aggressor kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Ben probably could speak more about this.
He started like the dissing shit.
Yeah?
Like he dissed so many people on his come up.
Like
Eminem. But yeah, he started like the aggressive, the really aggressive, like semi emo, I guess you could say, shit.
But was he saying it like, straight for, like, was he straight up saying
Yeah,
like,
he was.
the names? Or
Yeah,
like...
he was like calling out the names.
So like in this new album, he straight up calls like a bunch of people.
Because everyone nowadays sends like subliminals.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah, I mean, there's a smarter way of going around talking smack if you want to, be mean, I guess.
Yeah. And he also dissed who was it? The biggest one that everyone's talking about is MGK, Machine Gun Kelly.
Who's that?
I didn't know about him until the album came out. I had to search him up because I didn't even know who Machine Gun Kelly was. But to summarize it for you, basically, he dissed Machine Gun Kelly. I don't even remember what the lines were in the song that he was dissing him for, but Machine Gun Kelly is the only guy who responded back to Eminem.
To be honest, people can like pay Eminem to diss them, and that will like revive their career.
Yeah.
I mean, any publicity is good publicity.
Yeah, that's exactly the way I see it. I didn't know about Machine Gun Kelly before Eminem's album came out, and now I know about Machine Gun Kelly. I didn't know about him beforehand, and now I do. And that's good publicity.
They friends, or are they like?
Then honestly,
Machine Gun Kelly was hitting on his daughter or some shit.
Yes, that's what happened. And this is the funniest thing. So, 2012, Machine Gun Kelly writes a tweet saying like, I searched.
Years ago? Like 5 years
2012.
Ago?
No, it was 6 years ago. 6 years ago, he writes a tweet. I just searched up Hailey Mathers on Google, and let me tell you, she's fucking hot. But no diss to Eminem because M is king. That's like basically what he wrote, the tweet.
Right. Well, it's disrespectful.
Disrespectful. Also, he wrote that 6 years ago. Hailey, Eminem's daughter, she was 16 at the time.
Yeah, no, it's
underage, jailbait sort of type shit.
Nah, but you just don't say it's about anyone that's like underage.
Exactly.
Like,
but also at the same time, like it also took like 6 years to respond back to that. Like, hey, fuck you, motherfucking fuck.
Well, he released it last year, didn't he?
Mm. The new album came out like less than a week ago. Oh,
is that when he's calling?
2 weeks ago. That's when he's calling out a bunch of people. He called out Charlamagne from the Breakfast Club. He
had to like kind of do that diss, so
what?
Like he had to kind of diss everyone.
Yeah.
Because everyone wanted that from him. If he kept going on the revival route,
yeah,
he would have just like vanished.
Yeah. Why does he just decide to do it on now then? Like I don't understand.
Because Revival flopped.
Revival was a massive flop. To be honest, I've never even heard Revival. I don't want to listen to it. I've just heard bad. I haven't bothered even listening to Revival.
I'm not going to talk bad about anyone, but like obviously if you're you release something that wasn't successful and then you release something a year later that is trying to
it's all of his songs that right now that are playing are all top charts. Like every single song is in the top 50 in the global charts.
They're like kind of it's making a new topic of conversation. It's like instead of just having rap music, you have like this new kind of genre, I guess, like subgenre of rap that is just.
It's not that. It's that like no one these days are like brave enough to like call out names and start like dissing people straightforward. Everyone's subliminally saying shit.
Yeah, but you don't really need to say it in the first place. Like, if you have a problem with someone, like, yeah, sure, everyone, and we're not all going to get along, but you don't need to write songs and dedicate your time to trying to make someone else feel stupid.
Yeah, I know, but, like, the way hip-hop was going, I reckon, is, like, what you say is going to start getting censored and shit. Like, you won't be able to say that because it will offend someone else. And what he does best is break those barriers and just, like, fuck it, I'm going to say that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well,
like, hip-hop starts becoming, like, barriered, like, oh, you can't say...
But that's just the way the world's going, man.
Yeah, like, I know. That's, like, why it's good that he is going against that.
Yeah, all he's doing is fueling their argument, saying, like, this like all these people are being bullied or offended, like of course they need to like. I guess he's trying to he's taken the right, not the right way, but like he's gone in a direction he thinks is going to help stimulate his side of the argument or whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's just given evidence and help to the other side that's saying it's bad to do this.
There's two other people I want to touch on in terms of him dissing, and he dissed Drake. He went hard on Drake.
What did he say about Drake?
That I can't remember the exact line that he used, but basically I will take on you and all of your ghostwriters or something, and even your ghostwriters won't be able to.
It's just
like,
one song, or it's just like 10 songs of just talking crap.
It's a couple of songs that he went on about. I think the 3 people that he went on the hardest were, 4 people that he went on the hardest were Drake, MGK, Joe
Budden. Budden had such a good response for that.
Joe Budden had a really. Did you watch the podcast with Joe Budden?
Yeah, he had a good response.
I watched the entire podcast with Joe Budden as well. That was a pretty intense podcast.
He's signed to his label as well.
Yeah, and Joe Budden, I didn't even I'll confess, I didn't know about Joe Budden until this all went down, and apparently he's retired. And to summarize the podcast of Joe Budden's thing, he's basically said, and he said this in the podcast, but I don't know if this is going to actually happen. He said, if you make a personal diss track for me, aside from the album, because the album
he'll return.
Then he'll
Joe
return.
Budden will definitely do that. Joe Budden's fucking, he's got bars, man. He's like.
But I also, I know he's got bars. I'm not doubting that. But I'm also saying, I watched The Breakfast Club with him, a couple of days ago. It came out a couple of days ago. And Joe Budden said, I'm not going to return for anyone. I'm retired. I'm not returning for everyone. But at the same time, he records a podcast and says, if you make a diss track personally, just dedicated to me, doesn't have anything to do with...
It's too good an opportunity for him to, pass up not returning.
But he also said in The Breakfast Club that I've had plenty of opportunities that I've had to think about before, but at the end of the day,
but none of them have been as big as Eminem. He dissed Drake when Drake dissed him, and that was
when was that? After he retired?
I don't understand this.
A year ago.
I just don't get it, man. I'm involved with a lot of genres of music, and jazz, classical, any of these kind of. If you have a problem with someone, you say it to their face, or you just blatantly ignore them, just don't work with them again. You don't need to go out of your way to kind of.
I guess hip hop is or rap in general is a whole different
the community is just so small though in music. People think music's such a massive thing, and it's not. Out of let's say it's 1% of the world really that actually is involved with professional elite music,
right? And
any classical music, especially if I'm rude to another tuba player, for example, in America,
you just not collaborate with them and shit.
Yeah, but it's going to have ramifications. It's going to be a few tuba players in Europe aren't going to want to work with me.
Yeah.
It means teachers aren't going to want to teach me, or I'm not going to be able to have students. Or if I go to America, I'm not going to be able to stay with someone. It's your community is so small that you have to kind of look after each other. Make it all you want to do is make beautiful music together.
That's the thing. That's where it gets sketchy, because some of the people who've been dissing each other in rap, I feel it's just publicity shit. They agree with each other.
Because I've heard
nothing wrong with that.
I've heard they make a diss track. They'll make a diss track, and as soon as it comes out, they'll message each other and be like, "No hard feelings, bro. Did it for the publicity," kind of thing.
No, they probably agreed before.
Yeah, more or less, kind of how it works.
How KSI and Logan.
Yeah, not to bring that shit all up again, but KSI and Logan Paul thing.
What did they do? Aren't they YouTube bloggers?
Yeah. That's all. That's a whole nother story about how they had a big fight and whatever.
But was it a real fight?
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
I don't think it was a real fight. It was all staged, I reckon.
If it makes good music, that's the thing. At the end of the day, you want to make good music, and if that means you want to rap about another rapper, I guess.
Yeah.
And if it's good, it's good. It doesn't really matter. No one really. Unless you speak German or Italian, you don't go to the opera to listen to the lyrics.
And drama sells.
Drama sells. That's the thing. And like I think all of this dissing stuff that's going on right now in the whole rap hip hop community, I think it's gonna make a huge kind of like publicity kind of thing. Like everyone's gonna everyone's gonna make a buck out of it.
Yeah, I mean, people that don't listen to rap are gonna be like intrigued about what they're actually saying.
Exactly, yeah. But overall, I don't know if it's actually gonna progress hip hop or rap or whatever into like the direction that it.
I mean, it's already created like a new topic of conversation. It's already created this whole subsection.
Yeah, exactly.
Like diss tracks, like you have like all these,
Even on YouTube, you got just diss tracks left, right, and center.
Yeah,
that's how the whole Logan Paul and KSI.
That's how music. That's how anything like evolves. Like I mean,
it happened with Kendrick. Kendrick dissed like fucking so many people in the industry.
When?
In like 2012, and everyone was making diss tracks back to him.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Really?
I mean, even in like
I didn't know that.
You look in the 1950s. Like this might be a bit off topic, but like Elvis and Frank Sinatra. Like, you have like Frank Sinatra singing these like mad, old kind of sick tunes, and then you have Elvis coming with his rock.
Yeah.
And they both hated each other.
Really?
Like because they like Elvis was taking all like Frank Sinatra's like audience, that kind of thing. Like eventually they ended up getting along, and they sung a really nice piece of music together. But like I guess.
Do they collab? What the fuck?
Yeah,
Did they actually
such
collab?
a radical.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Like it was gorgeous music. I can't remember the song, but there's a video of them just singing together. Like I was.
Holy fuck! I didn't know that existed.
Like think about it. Like in the it was like 1955. Like they're at the height of their careers, both of them.
Yeah, both of them.
And like the whole country's split into like moving on to this rock, like, especially the younger group, and then the olders, still going for this laid back kind of. Like what do you even classify as music as? Just.
I don't want to say jazz, but I like bluesy sort of.
Who, Frank?
Well, they're like ballads. All these pieces,
ballads. Yeah.
Which is like jazzy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I kind of like that. So even this whole dissing kind of that's how it's going to evolve, and then eventually.
Bro, that would have been so dangerous for Elvis. Like, wasn't Frank in the mafia and shit?
Yeah, Frank was in the mafia,
I think
Elvis also at the same time. I don't think he gave a fuck.
Nah, I mean, look, if you're eating 10 kilos of peanut butter a day, you see sandwiches, that's great.
Did he really die?
Yeah, of a heart attack. No, because
Did he die from a heart attack?
Every night
overdose?
he ate like 20 rinds of bacon,
I heard
peanut butter, jelly, like an entire chicken, a ham, and like he ate so much.
I heard he died on the toilet eating a burger or some shit.
Yeah, that's what I heard he died on a toilet having an overdose. That's what I heard. I heard the toilet.
I think he loved his piss. I think he loved his peanut butter. Yeah, it's just like
Jesus. Like
either way, like like you have this. Eventually, if they're gonna diss each other, like I wouldn't be surprised if in a year or two they started like singing together.
Yeah, like that. Like
really
that's
cool.
the thing. You can't tell where everything is gonna go.
Yeah.
In this whole entire like fiasco that's going on with like what I can say is what Eminem has done with this new album has opened up like a sort of like a new door to a bunch of rappers. That's kind of like basically he just opened up the door and said, all right, it's your guys' turn. Like, so I've made my move in my chess game. Now it's your turn to make your move in your chess game.
Yeah, I kind of like that though. Like he's made his mark. Now he's giving other rappers like less known rappers. Yeah. No, I kind of like this whole idea of just like, these two guys are gonna fight eventually. I thought that was like the kind of the basis of rap though, just kind of dissing each other. Like in his movie, like they have the rap battles and that kind of thing, but at the end they all kind of love each other. Like, cause you're doing the same thing. You're trying to make the same kind of music.
I think in hip hop though, and Ben, feel free to jump in, but I feel like it's all about like rep and having your stance and kind of like being the ultimate or whatever.
Yeah, I mean ego plays a part in
being the number one.
It was about like who can play with words the best, but it was also like setting a message.
Well, I mean, like with any other form of music, your job is to make beautiful music, not about being the best. So is that what hip hop is? Like, is hip hop about being the best, or is it about music?
It's about like more message and music. It started off like, I don't actually know the facts, but I'm pretty sure it started off like black people were just like making poetry and shit.
Yeah.
And they started like, it was against like, some like, they were like in the cotton picking places, and they started.
Well, it started.
Their music was like spoken word and shit.
That's why like jazz was. Oh yeah, you have like Def Jam poetry.
If we go back way before hip hop and all that kind of stuff, like in the 70s, late 70s.
Yeah.
And we go all the way back to like black music in the slavery times when we were talking about like.
That was a lot of jazz. Like that's where like this New Orleans blues kind of
soul
stuff.
Kind of like soul music, where you have like everyone singing together, kind of like everyone's in an experience type of thing.
Yeah.
And then like it progressed as time went on. Like it went from soul to jazz to funk to like disco and all that.
I mean, you could make the argument that appropriation, like cultural appropriation. But that's just a whole other topic in general. Like you learn about that kind of thing in like music history, where you know, like other cultures are appropriating. Like you have to draw a line between appropriating other cultures' art and music form, or just in general for your own benefit, I guess. But I don't think hip hop, like even rap, and I don't like, you know, defining jazz or anything like as one culture. Like anyone should have the like opportunity and experience to, you know, do it. Like,
well, linking all of what you just said back to what we're talking about, linking it all together. When Eminem first started up, keep in mind he was the first white rapper to come out.
Well-known rapper, or
like
just
the first well-known kind of like, I don't know, maybe, I don't know if you can help me out here, but he was the first kind of white rapper, and like Dr. Dre signed him up and was like, yeah, you're, and then there was huge controversy, like Eminem, white rapper, like coming out, like, you know, there was a huge kind of like that whole entire cultural appropriation.
He got heaps of like, Dre got heaps of like criticism from his like other guys saying, "Oh, what are you doing with this white rapper and shit?"
Yeah, exactly. Like there was this whole entire like, and then I guess in like Dre's idea, it was kind of like, look, he can spit bars, he's good at freestyling, he knows what he's doing, like he's got talent, he can do this as well.
But he was never like Eminem. He was never like in the beginning. He just wanted to. That was his like outlet. For music.
That was his outlet. Yeah, like I remember watching something. I can't remember what it was.
Was it his movie thing?
It might have been 8 Mile. I can't remember, or even just an interview with him, and it was like, yeah, I had to like go to different schools every year. Every year I was like going to a different school. And I was failing everything, but the only thing I didn't fail was English, because the only book I had was a dictionary. That was the only book I actually had on me, and I read the dictionary. That's all I could read, because I couldn't afford anything else. And I mean, that just goes to show like his talent. Like he knows how to play with words.
The yearly dictionaries. It's like, you know how it's like 2018.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, 2019 like Oxford Dictionary is like, oh boy, can't wait for the new.
I got pre-ordered already. I'm waiting in line.
What's the new word? Oh shit. Well, let's go to white. Oh, yeet.
They actually put in new words it's crazy. Like new words getting made and that kind of thing. It's incredible.
I'm surprised they fucking come up with. I honestly, I don't even think. Apparently, fucking YOLO was put in the dictionary as well.
Really?
Like, how the fuck?
YOLO's a like
acronym.
Yeah,
it's an acronym. How the fuck can you put acronyms into a dictionary? I don't get it. But whatever.
YOLO.
Yeah.
No, that's a good song.
Out of the whole entire Eminem thing, my favorite bit in it, and it's honestly because I like Kendrick, was when he like screamed out, he's like, "Revival didn't go viral," and then that's the only line.
Who's saying that, Kendrick or Eminem?
He was kind of giving like a little
My left stroke just went viral.
Yeah, it was just kind of like it wasn't like a diss. It was more like a kind of like a shout out to Kendrick, kind of like a, because like in the
new Kendrick's album.
No. So, in one of Kendrick's songs, in Humble. In Kendrick's Humble song, he goes, "My left stroke just went viral," and then just keep going. But he just kind of gave like a little shout out to Kendrick. He was like, and because Eminem's last album was called Revival, he's like, "Revival didn't go viral," and he just kept going.
I think it's all in good faith.
He gave like a little shout out to Kendrick,
I doubt they dislike each other. Like, they're all the same art. They're just trying to make beautiful music. Well, and people enjoy it. That's all that matters. Like,
in the Eminem's new album, he says, if you're not J. Cole, if you're not Kendrick, he mentioned, and you're not Logic, you're not getting this.
If you're not biracial. That's Logic C. Every album is like, I'm biracial.
Wait, so I know nothing about hip hop.
No, I mean, this is it's fair enough, but like,
no, I mean, it's just cool, like having like an insight. It's like I think it's just like this whole musical spectrum is just like so broad. Like, in one side you have playing in like gorgeous opera houses, and then the next is just like, you know, all these kind of underground little rap joints and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's just crazy. Like, but either way, music still brings people together, and people are going to enjoy it. And if it's good music, it's good music. It doesn't matter what it's about. Like, that's the reality. It's like, if they want to diss each other, hey, look, if it's good content, if it's good music, then people are going to listen to it, and it's going to make money. But,
yeah, I agree with that.
And the money doesn't matter, but like, still, just, you know.
I think we should wrap up the whole Eminem joint thing.
Good chat.
Yeah.
So what are we concluding on?
Concluding on, I don't know. My final words are, I'm pretty keen. Oh, we didn't even get to the MGK part, but basically,
don't talk shit about 16-year-olds.
MGK attacked Eminem with a song called Rap Devil, and
this was pretty solid.
His disses were pretty solid, and MGK responded back. I mean, sorry, not MGK. Eminem actually did respond back.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. It's on the trending page as well. I can't remember what the song was called, but MGK wrote a song called Rap Devil, kind of making fun of Rap God, sort of thing. And Eminem responded back like a day later with a song called something like along the lines of burying the devil or something.
How do they like write music, like write it, record it, and then upload? I thought like uploading videos to YouTube took like 5 hours.
It depends on how fast the internet, like, you know, that kind of shit. But like,
still, like, you know, in a day, like, that's crazy, man. Like,
but like, also at the same time, I'm pretty sure Eminem's got like a bunch of fucking beats there ready to go.
Yeah,
and he can just fucking just write a bunch of words together, and just all he has to do is write some words and spit them out. Like, sure, it won't be like the best that he can do, but it'll be the quickest, and because it's all on social media,
you just need to do like a bit better than that person.
Yeah,
you're not supposed to like put all your cards on the table at once.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that kind of idea. Like, in the whole rap game, it's like, as long as you do better, it's sort of like a battle, right?
If you put all your cards on the table at once,
you want to win the battle.
You have left.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you win, like, you know that whole saying, like, he didn't win the battle, but he won the war, whatever. Like that saying, I'm not sure how it goes, but yeah, like that whole thing. But yeah, overall, it's really interesting because it's only been out for like a week or so.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to see where it's gonna go, because I think like between 5 to 10 rappers with this hardcore.
Well, that's at least 5 to 10 more songs.
Exactly,
that's another 5 to 10 more responses, and then look.
Yeah, so it's created like a huge kind of rift in the whole thing, in the whole hip hop community, which is really interesting to see how it progresses. But yeah, that's
cool.
That's what I think about it. Ben, do you have any comments to make about it at all?
Yeah, fucking diss battles.
Ben's coming out with a diss battle next week. Actually,
I'm dissing you all.
Yeah, Ben's gonna diss every single person on this planet.
I'd love to see like if they all work together at like one stage. That'd be lovely. Like,
yeah. Well, with that all being said, Lucas, what's your kind of music? What do you do? What music do you do? You play the.
How long have you been playing tuba for?
Oh look, I was in year 5, and my teacher looked at me, and I was 6 foot, and he goes, "I'm gonna give you a tuba," and I said, "Yeah, right." So he gave me a tuba. And I stopped playing it after a year, and then the America tour came up, and I was like, yeah, Struth, I want to go to America. So I started playing tuba again. Then I went to America. It was good fun. And America is a great country. It's very fun. Anyway, so no, it's like good. And you just start off doing a bit of classical work, then you work really hard in year 12, and then you go to the con, and you start breaking away into the little subsections of music. So that's the great thing about the con. Like, you know, you walk through the whole way to the practice room, and one person will be like contemporary singers, and then you have a classical clarinet player, and then you have a classical violin, and then you have a jazz saxophone and a jazz trumpet, and then like what they do once or twice a year, or if they ever do it, like they collaborate, the jazz department and the classical department. So last year, Judy Bailey actually, she's incredible. Like she's a very big like influential jazz like musician, and I think it was last year where they had a guy release a song on YouTube and he referenced her in the song, and there's like the song had like 100 million views or something like that, because he took her music, like her track kind of thing, and then rapped over the top of it. And this is like
What was the song? Do you know?
Oh, I can't remember. If you look it up on YouTube, you'll find it. Just like look up Judy Bailey, like featuring Judy Bailey or whatever, and like. It's just that's the like they say the best thing about the conservatorium is the connections you make, because I went in there as a very open-minded classical tuba player, and I ended up I do jazz gigs now, I do classical gigs, like you like one day you'll be at a festival drunk playing sousaphone, and the next day you'll be in a church playing gorgeous hymns or chorales.
Do you reckon it's hard to get into the conservatorium? I mean, for those who don't know, like, first off, what is a conservatorium?
Sydney.
Second of all, is it hard to get in there? And
honestly, like, it's the Sydney Conservatorium of Music, and it's like one of the best classical, like just musical institutions in Australia, in Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone that wants to do well, like if you're an amazing singer, like they're not going to turn you down. And there's no difference between AIM or the con. Like, there's this stigma about going to the con that it's the best. And if you go to any other of these academies, like, it's frowned upon. It's like, we all kind of joke about it, but at the same time, like any musical institution is a musical institution. You're going to meet people, you're going to make connections, you're going to get lessons, you're going to be given the opportunity to work.
Yeah.
And like, that's the most important thing about being a musician, is being social. Because it doesn't matter how good you are at your instrument, regardless of what genre you're playing in. If you're, the best oboe player in the world, but no one likes you, or you're not very social, for example, you won't work, because someone would rather sit next to you, like they'd rather sit next to someone in an orchestra or in a jazz band who is sociable, who is friendly, who's nice, than and is a bit like not as good as someone who's an absolutely amazing musician. But and like back in the day, like a while ago, it was different. Like you could have the biggest ego, you could be the best musician, and people would listen to you regardless. But it's just not the way.
Yeah,
it is.
I've heard that from a couple of musicians now. Like, no one wants to work with assholes.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like, it's like you can't, like, you got to rehearse, you got to practice. Like, you don't want to invite people to your house, to your garage, to practice, and then they're just being a dick. Like, you don't want that. Like,
sure.
That's why, like, the most important thing about being a musician, and like that's the thing. Like, it was somewhere. I think it was a video or something. It was a musician talking about it, and he's like, your reputation is your money. It's your job. It's your career. It's your friendship groups. Like, if you have a bad reputation. If you have a reputation of being, like, the most important thing about any musician is being on time.
Yeah.
And being on time means being early. Like, to be early is to be on time, to be on time.
Well, anything in the entertainment industry, like, being on time just basically means get there
an hour early.
Yeah, exactly.
An hour or two early. The second thing is knowing all the notes and being really friendly. Like, you just have these fundamental kind of rules. You have to be on time. You have to be very open-minded, very, very good at your instrument. Or singing, like whatever you do. Like, there's just so many, like, back in the day it was completely different. Like, in 30 years ago, you could get a job if you're on French horn, if you knew how to play, you'd be in the Berlin Phil. But times are changing. There's so many more people in the world. There's so many more people practicing, because there's 7 jobs in Australia for my instrument, for tuba. And once you get one of these jobs, you don't leave until you die or retire, which is 80, 90. Like, you just don't do it, because it's amazing pay, the lifestyle's incredible. You might rehearse 2 or 3 days a week, if that, for an hour, and then you might have a concert or 2 a week, and you'll be on 150 grand. Then you go teach at a conservatorium, and you travel. Your job is to travel the world. Like, you look at any major orchestra, like the Concertgebouw Orchestra in Amsterdam, they're touring like at least once a month, like for like a week or two, going to another country, getting paid amazing amounts of money. Like, it's a good industry and it's a good career, but it's just really hard to kind of get the job.
Yeah.
But like, referring to your question, like, is it hard to get into? If you have the drive and the dedication, you'll get in. Like, because people say, performance nerves. But if you have the drive, you're going to get rid of your performance nerves, because you're going to start playing in front of your parents. You're going to start going onto the street and busking. You're going to play in front of audiences. And auditions are scary. They are. But that's why you do practice auditions, and people can see, like, you can tell if someone's scared or if someone's not good at their instrument. Like, so if you're good, you can go to the con. You can go to any musical institution. You just got to have the passion. Like, and as well as that, it's not about being the best. It's about having the, like, it's in your heart. Like, if you're a musician or not, and like people can see.
I think it's the overall ability. Like, not only can you play the instrument well, but you also have the personality. You have the
you have the drive to
the
be
drive. You also have there's all other different factors as well.
Yeah.
Like, you can play not too well on the instrument. Like, obviously not. Like, you don't know what the difference between C and B is on the keyboard. You know, like that kind of thing. But I'm talking about, like, you know how to play the instrument, yes, not too well, but you also have the motivation, the drive. You also have the charisma. Like, you have the personality.
That's actually the most important
like all
thing.
of that. Like, all of that also has an impact in terms of, like, being successful and all that.
There are musicians out there that are phenomenal, like,
Yeah.
technically, but just have no musicality, and musicality is honestly the most important thing. Like anyone can just play an instrument for 8 hours a day and get really good at it and play the notes. But to be musical, like, that's why no musician ever sounds the same. Like, you will never hear a single musician in the world sounding like another musician. Like, they might have similar kind of traits, but they all have their own kind of little tinge, like their own kind of little bit to it. And that's what makes it incredible, because they all, like, you need to, that's why you're given 2 ears and 1 mouth, because you're meant to listen twice as much as you talk, twice as much as you play. Like, any good musician will be listening to hundreds, like thousands of other musicians and their own instruments, different instruments.
That's what I kind of found, like, with writing, if you try to get too technical with it, you kind of lose the feeling.
Yeah, you lose the passion. Like, you use the human side to it. Like, being a musician is no different to being an actor or an artist. Like, you're just portraying a story to an instrument or a paper or like a brush.
What I've heard recently is that for someone, for example, like you guys,
sometimes it's so hard to, like, get past that, like, trying to be as, like, you're trying to, like, balance humility and, like, the technical side, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you're trying to, like, mix your, like, yeah, I get what you mean. It's that's just
I'm gonna quickly hit pause.
Oh, yeah,
because we have to get back in a sec. Don't leave. We'll be right back.
Like, what is the go with this place, though? Like,
this place?
Yeah.
If you are homeless, then they will take you in.
Do they have, like, spare rooms, or they like?
They have, like, a couple of places
just like
around
dorms.
Sydney. Yeah.
All right. I saw there's, like, different. So if they'll find your room somewhere in Sydney.
Yeah, but you have to, like, go through, like, caseworkers and shit to actually get this place.
Okay, so how do you afford, like, most people on the dole, or, like, student allowance kind of thing?
Some are either, like, there's a few people going to university here, a few of them are just, like, on Centrelink. But if you're on Centrelink, you have to be doing, like,
You're looking for jobs kind of thing.
either that or, like, doing activities and shit, or you're just working.
Okay. So how much was it a fortnight? $360.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still.
That's pretty cheap
like,
for the eastern
it's nothing.
suburbs kind of, like,
That's
area.
nothing.
Like, that's nothing. Yeah.
Like, you're a bus away from the city and the beaches.
Exactly. Yeah.
Apparently they, like, slowly raise it up, though, to get you, like, prepared for
Oh.
actually, like, renting out a place.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
is there, like, a time limit on this place? Like,
I think I have, like, until the end of this year, but I'm not actually sure. I think that's going over.
Well.
But apparently they were, like, just renovating, they're, like, using this place until they renovate it for, like, a new hotel.
are they gonna, like, for the same use, or they're going to develop it into, like,
It's like an actual, like, hotel, I'm pretty sure. Because it was, like, an actual hotel before it turned into this, but...
So is it government owned, or is it, like, a charity kind of thing?
I'm not really sure. I think it's charity more. Because the person who owns it is, like, letting you stay here until he, like, actually, like, renovates and shit. So
Yeah,
it's probably
right.
charity.
So he's going to develop it kind of
Yeah.
thing.
But this place has been around for a while, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And it's a cool place, I guess. Like, it's got lots of people.
Yeah.
But, like, they can't be kicking people out like that. Like,
It's pretty... It's, like, strict here, but, like, it's only strict if you...
Well, what do you mean by
are
strict?
stupid
Like,
about it.
you can't tag the place. Okay, that seems reasonable.
Yeah.
No, you can tag the place, only, like, the areas, like, allocate you, though. There's, like, a massive tag when you walk in that says the Addison Project. And you can ask some guys to do that. And there's, like, tags on the front, like,
But those are like
professional,
like they're kind of like
they're not
permission
granted.
granted.
It's just permission granted.
So if you tag your room, like, do they inspect your room every now and then?
Yeah.
So like if you just fucking graffiti the back of this wall, you're fucked. Exactly. Like.
I mean, I don't think it was originally brown.
The colours for this room are kind of like fucking shit.
And like that's brown, that's grey.
Yeah,
that's fucking. Every wall's different, bro. Like that was white. The paint's falling off. I mean, yeah, that's fair, I guess. So can you be a couple living here, or just kind of single?
Oh no, you can be a couple.
Okay, that's good. That's crazy. Ooh, I got a message. Who's that? Are you out? Go away. She's so annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, that's kind of so, like, when did you get here?
It would have been like November last year.
Okay. That's pretty crazy. How old are you now? 19? 20?
14.
Yeah,
no, I'm 21, bro.
I actually believe it. Yeah, no, that's yeah.
But yeah, Ben's moving out with Lucas. Yeah.
He's been a good boy now, though.
Yeah, he's a good boy now.
He was always a good kid. Like,
you know, I got a few catchphrases from you. Right? Like, you know, like when someone has like a few words they say every once in a while, and then you just end up using it.
Absorbing them into your own vocabulary.
Yeah. So I started saying good boy. Like not good boy. I'll be like, he's a good guy. He's a good boy. He's a good guy. Or whatever. And I'll also say like, take it easy. Take it easy.
What would you say before? He's a good.
I don't know.
Because we had this group chat where we had to like talk about all the trainees, and I'd always say like, because like I personally think your personality is the most important thing. Like I honestly like.
Yeah, okay, when it comes to work, like, yeah, I kind of agree with you, and also at the same time I have to. Disagree. Like I agree and disagree. Like I think personality at work is important. But I also think work ethic is also important as well.
Yeah. I mean, so, you can't come in to just take the piss, but like...
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not as good or you're a bit of a slow learner kind of thing, like that's completely fine. But like, it's people that come in there. I don't care how good you are. It doesn't matter if it's in music. It doesn't matter if it's our previous employer. Like...
Yeah.
You just... If you're not a nice person and you're not enjoyable to be around, and if... Because like, it gets to the point where people say they don't want to work with you.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot. And once it gets to that point, like... For people in charge, for people that are running bands, anything like that, they don't want to be like, look, I don't want to lose my entire ensemble for one person.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
the same as any job,
like that's the thing. Like you can be extremely well at your job.
What defines a nice person to you?
Like, I mean, you can tell like a nice person, like, you know, they're friendly. Like if someone's got a heart of gold, like they're gonna look out for their friends, they're gonna look out for you, like they're gonna try their best. And they're not going to be rude. They're not like, I remember there was one trainee I was teaching, and he was just a bit like, he just got to the point where he was just rude, and like, he wasn't a bad guy, but it's just some of the things he like said, like we all say silly things, but like it just gets to the point where you're borderline, like if you're not trying and you're being rude to people, like, you know, I've taught, you know, a lot, like I teach kids all the time, and all my kids are great kids. Like, they're young, they're passionate about their music, they're passionate about playing well. Like, I won't teach someone who isn't interested in playing their instrument. Like, if they don't want to play, if their parents are forcing them, I don't want to teach them, because they don't want to be there, I don't want to be there. It's like, if you guys have ever taught someone, it is so satisfying. That's why I say, like, teaching is the most satisfying job, because you're like giving someone your information, like your knowledge, your wisdom, and you see them take that wisdom and then that knowledge in, and they use it and they change it to make it better. Like, you know, that's why, you know, history is like such a cool thing. Like, that's why history never kind of like, you know, if you learn it and study it, like we wouldn't have half the problems today, like recessions, all that kind of thing, because you learn from your mistakes. I guess I don't know.
What do you?
Doesn't that also mean like history repeats?
Yeah, I was literally about to ask.
But it should never have to. That's the thing. Like, it's just because that's just human nature to be like inherently greedy and jealous and selfish. Like, that's why it does. Like, that's why wars start, because.
No, but going back down to the base, like, if someone's making mistakes, someone else, like, they'll learn from that. The next person will learn from that, and someone else, that person will make a mistake, Next person will learn from that. That person.
But say one person's greedy and selfish, and they start a war to get money, and then 10 years later, like people are like, okay, look, we're not gonna have a war. But then someone's like, I'm greedy and selfish, and I want this. They're gonna take it. That's why we still have crime. Like, that's why people still rob and steal, because they want things that they can't have, so they take it.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, there's the one argument with history repeats itself, and there's also the other argument that you learn from your mistakes, right? So, with that being said, you can have the history repeats itself, and, like, to use the worst example possible, World War II, right? You're going into the far, like, history repeats itself sort of thing. It's like, okay, you had, like, Nazis and all that kind of shit, but we learned from our mistakes, so we're not going to put people in concentration camps anymore.
Yeah, but look at Nauru, like, look at any of those detention centers, like...
Yeah, but, like, that's what I'm saying, like, it's like, you got the history repeating itself, but at the same time, we're trying not to learn from our mistakes, but it's sort of a bit contradictory, if that makes sense. Like, it contradicts itself.
I feel like the moment you stop, you get to a point where, like, you've learned all your mistakes, and then you stop seeing the mistakes.
We're talking about history repeating itself, and at the same time the mistakes repeating itself, and
learning from your mistakes.
Learning from mistakes.
Like, we're not historians, we're not anthropologists. Like,
yeah,
that's a really big thing that, like, like, I don't really understand, to be honest with you. Like, people involving themselves in, like, conversations and topics that they really have no, like, I mean, everyone's got, everyone has the right to an opinion, but at the same time, like, unless you really have a massive background knowledge into it.
Well, how do you get those background knowledges? Like,
you study, you go to university, you learn.
Keep in mind.
You have to, like, ask questions first.
Yeah, but, like, there's a difference between it, like, going to a protest.
Keep in mind, Lucas. This is called the I Don't Know podcast. We don't know jack shit. That's why we're learning. We're learning.
Yeah.
As we do this.
Like, if you feel the need to educate us, then bring it on, bro. Like, I'm open to getting corrected.
Oh, yeah. I don't know, like, a lot about anything. Like, I mean, that's what upsets me. Like, people, especially, like, in this day and age where everyone's got the right to abuse and say they're being offended and yell at people about it. It's like, it really upsets me, man. Like, you even look at any university these days, and there's people that get offended and upset. And that's one part of university that really sucks. That you have to, like, to watch what you say, because if you say the wrong thing, you get expelled.
That's what I really disliked about going to uni. It was one of the main reasons why I left uni. I did my diploma. I was on my way to my bachelor, but, like, I figured I've got my diploma in the bag. I may as well just fucking leave it at this point. Like, at first I was like, okay, I'm gonna defer for a year. So I left I took a break for a year, and I figured, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that, and, like, the year went by, and I was like, okay, well, I really don't want to go back. I really don't want to go back to that culture. I don't want to go back to the way things were being taught, the way things were, like, the whole entire culture, the whole entire way things were being expressed. The syllabus especially was terrible, and the way everything was organized in my uni that I was going to was just terrible at the time. I don't know if it's improved since then. Maybe it has. I'm not sure. But it was like, that whole thing was just terrible. But
then you have to make the distinction between, knowledge and, like, would you have, like, a university qualification or not? And
yeah,
if
exactly.
You have, like, your own kind of prior knowledge.
The way I see uni at the moment is, if you're going to uni for a specific degree, and a degree that actually needs, like, a qualification, like, I'm talking about stuff like
law,
medicine, science, like, law, like, engineering, like, I'm talking about, like, all these, like skilled professions that actually need a degree in terms, like, to progress. But if you're doing something like a creative degree, like an arts degree, or you're doing something creative like, I don't know, film and television, or you're doing fashion or design or anything like that.
Yeah, any fine arts kind of thing.
Fine arts, exactly. Anything like fine arts related. I feel like at this point, like in this day and age, anything that you really want to learn or understand, you can do that online.
Yeah.
You can search up a YouTube video. You can download a tutorial about it. You can figure all that.
The problem is we're moving to the day and age where everything you need to like have recognized skills. Like
yeah.
Even for an entry level job in the film industry, like would you need a qualification?
Yes and no.
I mean, if you're an actor, of course not. But if you're like trying to get on the production team or anything like that.
Yeah. Yes and no. Because
it would help you a lot though.
It would help. I mean, look, I've got a diploma in film and television. Yeah, I don't have a bachelor, but I've got a diploma. The first thing I get asked when I apply for a job is, okay, you've got a diploma. That's cool, man. Do you have a portfolio? Like, what have you worked on in the past? And I'm like, well, I haven't worked on anything in the past. I just finished uni. I've got a diploma. And they're like, yeah, no, we get you've got a diploma, but what have you worked on? Because we don't like care that you've got this piece of paper. We just want to see what you've done before.
Right.
So it's like one of those like it's like that. I don't know what the word is. Like a loophole, like a loop. It's kind of like you need experience in order to get experience, sort of thing.
That's where you make your own experience, like.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. Like in terms of like the creative industry, and this is like a perfect example of like what we're trying to do. Like.
Yeah. Well, this is experience. Like
this is experience right now. Like all that kind of stuff. Like in terms of the creative aspect of it, I feel like in the film and like entertainment industry, like you can like if it comes to music, for example, you can upload your music onto SoundCloud or YouTube or Spotify or whatever it is. And same thing with film, you can upload it onto YouTube and stuff, or Facebook or Instagram.
Like you make
whatever.
your own little productions. Kind of.
Yeah.
Well, that's the easy thing. Like in music, for example. Like to get a teaching gig, like it's the first one is always the hardest to get. Like finding your first student is borderline impossible. Like unless you know someone that really unless you have a family friend that really wants to play trumpet kind of thing. But that's where like even just saying I've been taught by these people, like you go out of your way, you spend $300 to get that lesson. You go to America, you go to Europe, you go to Asia, and you find amazing musicians, and you get lessons off them, and then you. Because everyone has some sort of experience in teaching, whether that be from when you're in school or, like I'm sure they had like some program where the year 12s are teaching the year 7s or the year 11s are teaching year 5s or something like that.
Yeah.
Even like cadets is a really good one because they can see it any social activity, like even sports, like say you're trying to tutor or guide someone. And that's where you kind of get that first kind of experience, and that's how you kind of make your resume for your first teaching job. And once you get your first one, bang, you got your foot in the door. So with film, I guess it's the same kind of thing. You go get do you get lessons off?
No, I don't. I went to uni. After uni, I YouTubed everything I needed to know.
But do they have teachers?
What, at uni?
No, I mean for like film, like would you go for like an hour-long lesson with a teacher?
We had lectures and all that kind of stuff.
Like one-on-one, like 1 hour.
No, we didn't have one-on-one at uni. The one thing that pissed and sorry to use the word, but triggered me at uni was when I went to my directing course, and I was like, this like at uni, this is what I was waiting for. I was waiting for the directing, like the lectures for directing. I was like, I'm gonna learn how to become a director. I'm gonna learn how, to do all that. You know what my directing class was? It was a 3-hour lecture. 2 hours of that was spent watching a movie. Like a full movie, like from start to finish, and the other half an hour or an hour was them talking about the movie, and that pissed me off so much. I was like, and I did the maths. I was like, okay, so I'm paying $40,000 for this degree. Divide that by how many hours a lecture trimester. I did the maths. $300 for a lecture.
So movie ticket.
I'm paying a $300 fucking movie ticket to watch a fucking movie. That's basically what I'm paying for.
But was the information like part of our course in music is listening to music every day and like
but like
that's just part of the gig. You just gotta listen to music all the time.
Yeah, but I don't understand. Okay, like
would you usually like break down the movie though, like before? No, like forget uni. Like you're just watching movies outside of school. Would you usually like break it down into like
The thing that annoyed me about it was that why couldn't they give us that movie for homework? Whether or not we didn't watch it or we did watch it, that's our fault if we didn't watch the movie.
All you have to do is
but they could break it down for us. Like, we didn't have to spend 3 hours in a lecture class watching a movie. Like, obviously not, it wasn't obviously not all the movies were 3 hours long.
Yeah.
Some movies were an hour and a half, some movies were 2 hours.
They taught that to you in high school as well.
Yeah. And for, like, I spent probably about a year at uni. Half of that year I was at uni was stuff that I already knew. Stuff like...
Yeah, but that's just part of it, man. Like, you're going to learn, like, your first year or two, you're already studying stuff you already know.
And that, like, it frustrated me so much. I just lost kind of,
You lose your motivation about it.
Exactly. I didn't have any motivation because I was like, all these teachers are teaching me stuff that I already knew, and they're trying to waste time. And besides all that, the organization skills in terms of the uni, like, there was about 3 or 4 cameras for the whole entire year.
Was it like like when you went into the year, it was like, here's what you already know, blah, 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 or was it like, here's something new tied into something you already know?
No, because the way they did it was kind of like, we're going to teach you implying you don't know anything.
Where'd you go, JMC?
Yeah.
But that has recognised artists and people like that have come out of there, though.
They spend majority of their money on marketing.
Yeah, but how, like, what, like, really famous people, like, what famous actors, directors?
I wouldn't be able to give you one. I wouldn't be able to give you one.
What other schools are there?
There's SAE. The best one, which is kind of like the contemporary arts, is Afters. Afters is kind
Australian
of like
film, television.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've met a girl from there.
Afters is kind of like the NYU, sort of like the
pinnacle.
The pinnacle, like in terms of like in Australia, Afters is kind of like the best film school in Australia.
Why don't you try going there?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it, but it costs a fuck ton.
Oh, bro, it's money.
It costs
like,
a fuck ton.
Money's nothing, man. Like, if it costs money, like, you're getting...
I'm already in like 20 or 40k debt.
Yeah.
In student loans. I don't know if I want to chuck on an extra 50. I don't know if I want to put on an extra couple $100,000, or not 100, a couple 10, 20, 30 grand or whatever.
I mean, you don't really think of that's the thing. Like, people get so worried about it. It's like, you only start paying that back when you get like $58,000 in annual income, and like, being realistic, it's not for a while. That's not till you get our first big break, and then your first big break, you're kind of making, you know, a reasonable amount of money. Like, if you get a job as a director, or an assistant to a director, like, you're gonna be on good coin.
Yeah, but, and also the thing that kind of annoys me, I mean, we're all kind of in the entertainment industry, more or less so. And the thing that's kind of annoying about the entertainment industry, which is kind of like where we all signed up for, but like, it's all gigs. Yeah. It's not a salary. It's not like as if you get paid, you know, a certain amount every year. It's like, you know, you've got a project that you're going to be doing for a couple of months, or you've got a project you're going to be doing for a month, or you've got a project you're going to be doing for a week, or however long you've got a project that you're doing for. Once you're done with that project, see you later. You're still friends with that person. You could be still friends.
They become an associate.
Yeah, you could be associate. Like you could have a connection with them or whatever. You could have more potential projects with that person coming on, but at the end of the day, you've done that project. You're done with that project. Time to find the next project.
Yeah, that's
the way. That's the way it works. Whereas, like, all the other, I guess, jobs out there, like, it's all kind of like salary based. You know, like, I'm talking like teachers. I'm talking about scientists, engineers, like all those kind of jobs. It's kind of like, I work 9 to 5. I work 9 to 5. I do this amount of work, and I get paid 100, 200 grand a year kind of thing. I know exactly how much I'm going to get every week, and I know exactly how many hours I'm going to do every week, and that's it. But like in the entertainment industry, it's a completely different ball game.
Yeah.
One month you can make $100. the next month you can make like 5-10 grand.
Yeah.
Like it's a whole different ball game.
That's just a sacrifice, but like that's not even the biggest sacrifice we make in this industry. Like,
there's so many sacrifices in this industry.
Like, you know, that's one thing about all three of us. We're all single.
Yeah.
Like that's
a big sacrifice is being lonely.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing.
That's a sacrifice.
This is what,
that's actually a really good point.
I lost my girlfriend of like 4 years because I travel the world 2, 3, 4 times a year.
Yeah.
And she is not the most, avid traveler, and of course that kind of tears your relationship apart. Like you lose family, you lose friends, like you spend half your life.
That's actually a good point.
That's just a sacrifice you have to make within this industry. Like that's the reality.
Yeah.
Until you get a stable, like constant flow of gigs in one place, and that might, even if it's just Sydney or Melbourne, but if you're going between Berlin for film and then Sydney and then all these in an Asian country.
That's what like annoys me. Like people don't understand like when you're in like the come up or struggle whatever like learning part, you're gonna like not be there for like other people and shit.
Yeah.
You know the best thing is like these people studying law or medicine or science, they'll go to uni, study their butt off, and then they might go home and do like an hour or two study, like more like that. But like as a musician, for example, I wake up in the morning within 5 minutes of getting out of bed, I'm listening to music. I'm on the bus listening to music, doing my music homework. I'm practicing all day, and I'll get home at like 1 or 12. Just even if I go out, I'm going to gigs, and I'm listening to music. If you're doing film, for example, like you wake up in the morning, and the first thing you do is on YouTube.
Exactly.
You're like learning and constantly like you don't really get a time to relax. Like
the thing that I kind of like I heard the other day, which kind of like gave me like a little reflection to myself, was people who are in the music industry, when they listen to music, they're not actually you're
breaking it down.
Yeah, they're not listening to music. Like, they're breaking the music down.
No, but it's also like kind of like cool as well.
But
like you can't listen to a song like, wow, I actually like this song. It's more like okay, so what instrumental what's the beats that they use, like what instruments, like or like they just break it all fucking down to the point where they don't even
enjoy it.
They can't even appreciate the song for.
And once you get on like
right?
the mixing. Part as well.
The mixing,
breaking down the mixing.
You break down the mixing. You're like, oh, this song wasn't mixed too well, or this song's mixed
you
well.
Look at
like
different camera angles.
That's exactly the same thing. Like, you guys listen to music, right? When you're on a bus home, like on the bus or whatever,
to chord progressions,
and you just listen. Exactly. All that shit. And when my friends are like, let's go to the movies, I'm like, I can't. I want to watch this movie, yes, but after we leave that cinema, you're going to listen to me for 3 hours talk about every single little nitty-gritty detail I thought about that movie. I'm talking about storyline, narrative, camera angles, music, like every single little detail about that movie. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to destroy that movie for you.
That's the reality. Like that's the same thing
with me. Like
sacrifice you make. Like you kind of. I mean, you still enjoy music. Like I love listening to music. It's amazing. But it's you're not listening to it. You're kind of like you're appreciating it, you're trying to understand it, you're trying to break it apart, put it back together and see what the composer's trying to do.
Exactly.
That's it. Like I love when people say, "Oh, listen to classical music when you're studying." It's like, because you have no idea what's going on. It's just like kind of ambient. Like if you're actually studying,
like,
music,
how did you do that?
and like when you actually when I'm trying to do my harmony homework, like if I listen to like a Harding quartet, like having to write a minuet, for example, I'm not going to listen to another piece of music because it's not going to.
That's probably the worst fucking thing for you.
Mess with my head.
Because like you're trying to analyze a classical musical piece whilst listening to another classical musical piece. It doesn't work.
Even if I listen to like Dire Straits, like whatever band I listen to, it's completely different. Like that's why I guess like it's good being a musician because you kind of like you might start like doing your classical homework and then you listen to heavy metal because you don't understand it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you start on, so you go to like another genre of music and another genre, and by the end of it you've listened to every single genre, you appreciate every single genre.
Well, I mean, at that point you may as well just listen to the Eminem's new album.
Like it's like I like rap. Rap's kind of cool. Like it's cool music, but it's got to be the real. It's got to be passionate. It's not going to be.
If we link everything we just said, and just link it all back to what we started from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I do appreciate about rap is the like
Yeah, the poetry.
The poetry.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, shit like Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, like that shit. Like, there's no poetry to that.
Yes.
It's just instrumental. The beat is good, but the lyrics is just the same repetitive shit over and over again.
I mean,
That's
like,
basically it.
people, like there's a thing called the Silent Symphony, which is just 10 minutes of orchestral musicians sitting on a stage doing nothing.
Yeah.
It's like people say there's no art in that, but like that's the thing. Like in music, especially, like
Silence speaks volumes.
Yeah, it is. Silence
Yeah.
is like just as important as the music. And you know there is an audience. There's a market for people that want to listen to Gucci Gang. Like
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with the song. Like I'm not going to judge. Like a song's a song. Like everyone has their own opinions on it, on everything really. But like you know, that's the one thing you just can't like. Of course you can dislike something. That's fine. But you can't ever. Like, it's just being negative about things.
Yeah. Do you ever reckon like a song could get that big and be a bad song? Like no, it can't.
Yeah. But that's if there's a market for it, people listen to it. That's just it. Like.
Alright. We're back.
Are we?
Yeah, we're back. I'm not sure what we were talking about beforehand. It's been way too long. But we're at the end of our podcast. And you know what that means to the one person who watches our entire podcast?
Hey, one person can change the world.
Exactly. If you are that one person watching to the end of the podcast every single time, you may as well just share it with your friends. Like, what are you doing?
No, enjoy
Why
it.
is that one person just keeping it to himself? You may as well just tell
share
a friend.
it.
Yeah. Like I'm not trying to convince you to tell your friends to subscribe. I'm just saying show your friends. But you know what it means. We're at the end of segment podcast. Ben creates a beat in under 15 minutes. Now, we haven't actually told Ben what to create.
It's what I'm creating, so like...
So, yeah, I feel like we're just going to let Ben create something in under 15 minutes. I feel like that's honestly the best option. Because originally, Lucas, the original plan was we were supposed to give Ben an idea to create something in under 10 minutes. So I would have been like, create a trap beat in under 10 minutes. And he would have to create a trap beat in under 10 minutes. Pretty hard to do a trap beat in under 10 minutes. Trap for him is actually easy. But if I was like, create a classical instrumental in 10 minutes, go.
Yeah, I used to
Be
4-5-1 progression at the end.
Yeah.
Chuck a bunch of tonic dominants.
Oh,
The
yeah.
old tuba player 1, 5, 5, 1, 5, 1.
Well, I mean, if you want to help him out here.
Oh, no, I have no idea what this is.
Yeah. Well, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to chuck on 15 minutes on the timer right now.
Oh, you can get a 13. You already had 2 head start. Ben can work under pressure.
Okay, well, I'm chucking 15 minutes on right now as we speak. And that includes mixing. Because what this little sneaky fucker does...
No, mixing takes like...
Mixing takes a lot of time.
So what's mixing?
It's like just... Pretty much I just be space to it. No, it's like taking out some of the frequencies so they don't clash. It sounds like muddy and shit.
Okay, that's why, you know, in Western tonal music, we hate a thing called parallel fits. But in a lot of Asian music, you know, that's completely parallel fits. But in there's kind of different like areas of music, I guess, in classical. So Western classical like is mostly hard, like it's based off Haydn quartets, for example. Like that's where you get the 4-part harmony, like alto, soprano, tenor, soprano, alto, tenor, bass. So we have to do the same thing when we go through our homework. When composers write in that kind of area, you have to avoid parallel fits because they sound out of place. That's why you kind of never really double thirds in chords. Like, so it's cool. So mixing's just a kind of modern version.
Yeah,
That's cool.
and At first, 10 minutes for Ben was pretty tricky, which is fair enough, And then we gave him 15 minutes. And 15 minutes is fair enough.
I mean,
but then he'll extend his time. He's like, no, bro, I'm just mixing. It's fine.
Oh, it's just the last little bits.
Yeah, just the little kind of salt and pepper on the little seasoning for the beats.
Just cleaning it up.
I think in this meantime, in the next 15 minutes that we have to just talk shit, I guess.
What do you want to talk about?
How did you enjoy this podcast?
Oh, it's good fun. You really do take away all the, the trying and the pretending, and just have a good conversation, which is something that I don't really get to enjoy very often. Because normally it's trying to just impress people by talking about music, I guess, or just talking out of my ass, which is also kind of common.
Well, that's sort of what I'm trying. I'm trying to basically have a real conversation with people.
Yeah.
I don't wanna bullshit people.
I mean, it's a lot different when you have a camera on you.
It definitely is. It's 100% different when you have a camera on you, but at the same time, I want to keep it as real as possible.
Yeah.
So when the camera is rolling, it's not we're being fake or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
it's kind of like forced maturity.
Sort of, yeah.
It's people can tell pretty quickly if you're talking out of your ass, but they can also tell quite quickly if you're just being honest, I guess.
Yeah.
It's
yeah, it's a good point.
It's good, being able to have these conversations about topics that... The one thing I found, honestly, is, I've struggled to find conversation topics. Even when I go out, that's why I don't really go to clubs, because you can't really talk to someone, but you can't go...
Yeah.
Even just, when you meet someone, for example.
Yeah.
If I met a girl, I would honestly struggle sometimes just to find a, topic of conversation, just something to converse about. It'd always end up just talking about something stupid or just making out to be a fool. So this is kind of helpful, just being able to talk and then kind of learning, because that's all life is, just learning and taking in information.
Yeah, I definitely think that this, at least for me, this is definitely helping in one way or another, at least to be able to converse and have... So if I'm boring you or whatever.
No, you're good. Sorry, it's been a long day.
Yeah, fair enough. No, I was gonna say it's definitely helping in terms of being able to come up with things on the spur of the moment.
Yeah.
And have a conversation like that. In that respect, because I also have issues when it comes to in the spur of the moment, just being what about this?
Yeah,
and what about that?
Yeah. It feels so forced.
It 100% feels forced. So with that being said, I sometimes don't know exactly what to say.
Yeah.
So as the podcasts go on, I'm hoping that I get better and better at doing that kind of stuff.
It's honestly just helping our social skills. We're learning that we can talk about topics that... Because one thing I always find is I don't want to bore someone. I don't want to have a conversation with a girl, and that's why I don't like texting so much, because you can't really tell their reaction. You can't. It's not the same. It's if you message you on, I'd much rather talk to someone in person for 5 minutes than message someone all night, because it's just not. There's no.
You don't get. You don't. Yeah, exactly. I was about to say that. You don't have that same reaction, and you can't and there's several emotions that you can't really tell in a text. You can't tell, for example, anger or happiness or sarcasm. Sarcasm is the biggest one.
People
you
say,
can't tell.
It's you're not laughing.
Or lol.
Yeah, it's
people are saying lol, but are they actually laughing out loud?
Yeah, it's
probably not. No.
That's why you just, and it's just a physical kind of human interaction that people are missing these days. It's weird, the fact that you can go on Tinder right now, chat up anyone you want, and just meet up. I don't I get it, I do. I'm not gonna be a hypocrite, But at the same time, it's like, you know, where's the satisfaction out of, you know, ruling someone over? Where's the satisfaction, like, you know, because you, like, it's good. Like,
because, like...
being able to impress someone, making someone laugh, cry, angry, like, all that kind of, like, being able
the whole idea of bringing a girl home from a club or whatever is a lot more... There's more satisfaction to that than it is to messaging someone and being like, what are you doing? What are you doing
like,
tonight?
Like, conversation. Like,
yeah, getting a girl's number from a club is a lot... There's more satisfaction to that than there is from swiping right and then matching with someone and then being like, what are you doing tonight, kind of thing.
Yeah, like...
And then like, you swipe right, what are you doing tonight? And then you're just texting the entire time. It's like, come to mind. Okay, done. Has it been recording? We're good? Okay, we're good.
Cool. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I don't get a really huge thrill out of gore and thriller and horror and all that kind of stuff. I'm not exactly sure as to why that is.
You know, we talk about like desensitization, I guess, like especially, you know, like remember Call of Duty 5, like Modern War, like that was so gory, man. Like we were so young, we would have been like what 12, 13.
But that wasn't like too gory. That was basically like
they had like dogs ripping people's throats out and it was like stabbing their neck and stuff.
Yeah,
like, it was pretty
actually,
bad.
Yeah, that's a
like,
good point. Yeah.
And things like, you know, the rating system and all that, but like everyone had it anyway. Like
yeah, everyone did have it.
Because the parents, like as soon as my mom saw it, she was like freaked out.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like after like, actually no, even before Modern Warfare 2, I think Modern Warfare like COD 4, all that
That's
shit.
when it started getting good.
That's yeah. After COD 4 is when it started getting good, and after COD 4 was when people like, you know, video games. Are they destroying your children's brains, and are they creating your children to become psychopaths and yada yada yada?
Well, you know what? Like this, I had an argument. Like, remember those school people that come into the classes?
Fuck! What the fuck?
By the way, Ben's only got 15 seconds left.
Remember those people that came into your school and like they have the whole year sitting there and they do those little performances?
Yeah.
Like they were talking once about like video games being
haven't mixed it, bro.
And, like,
yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. He's like, I haven't mixed yet, so give me some extra time to mix.
So like they were doing like this like presentation on how
you get 5 minutes to mix.
Like it was a presentation on how like violent video games make people so angry. But it's like I said to them, look, if I was playing, you know, like Doctor in the House or something, am I going to be a doctor? Like, you know, if I'm playing cards, am I going to be a blackjack? Like, you know?
Yeah.
But then at the same time, it's like I remember like being an absolute psycho when I didn't get my games. Like when I was my dad threw my laptop on the concrete because he got so angry with me. Because I was just playing it all day long, like, and so many kids do that. They have it in the current affair now. Like, they recently made it a mental illness, I guess. They classified it like video game addiction.
Like, I get that. Like, it can be an addiction, but for the most part, like, there's that whole entire argument about like playing shooter games. Does that make you a shooter? Like, well, no, not really.
It's like
no, like
we all play shooting games, but like I don't think any of us have even shot a gun, let alone would
exactly
like any of that.
Just because we play shooter games does not make us a shooter.
But that's because we live in Australia though, where we don't have like in America, for example, like if they have access to guns and like
America's a whole different story. But even so, like even in America, if they're playing shooter games, every single person playing a shooter game in America is not going to become a shooter.
God no.
Yeah, like. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the statistics are, but I'd assume 95, if not 99% of them are not going to be shooters.
It's only such a small minority
it's a small
of people.
it's a tiny small percentage of it.
But is that just because they're inherently evil, or are they just... See, I don't get that, man. I don't get how anyone can actually want to hurt someone. Like, yeah, we get in fights, like, that's just part of being human, I guess. We have arguments and disagreements, but, like, I honestly don't understand why people go out honestly just trying to hurt people. Like, people go out trying to start fights. Like what's the point? Like,
that's a good point. And we'll find out the rest in 1 second.
Ben's all done.
Ben's all done. Nope. We didn't give him extra time. I can promise that. More or less.
More or less.
More or less. But
bit of leeway.
A little bit of leeway. Just a little bit. But yeah, that's the end of our podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. With that being said, it's time to play Ben's beat. We didn't really give him a idea of any sorts. He just created whatever he wanted to create. And this is it. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Bye.
Hit it. Hit it.
Leeway.
Leeway.
Fucking shit. Let me start again. Turn some shit on.
Fat beats indeed. Well, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Today's podcast. In the words of Lucas Paulus, take it easy, guys. And have a good one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit us up in the comments, you know, all that good shit, you know. And topic of conversation.